Hello everyone and welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. We're here to discuss the SPFL fixtures for season 2019-2020 and the hunt for 9 in a row. I'm joined by Ryan. We're going to go through the Flag Day fixture, the opening month, and then we'll talk in detail about the derbies, the Christmas period and the post-winter break, one of the fixtures that we've got, and we'll talk about other notable ones along the way as well. So Ryan, Flag Day, 3rd of August. At home at St Johnstone, the first game of a big month for us. How do you see that first game?
Aye, it is a big month, and I think if you look at the first couple of games we played against St Johnstone last year, there wasn't much in it at all, and it was that game where Jamesy had banged in 4, and we really hammered them that day. I think it's never going to be an easy game against St Johnstone. They're always well up for it. They're always well set up and know how to play Celtic. So coming to Celtic Park, they're going to come and try and put a spoiler on Flag Day. I think we have to find out how pre-season goes. We have to see how the team shapes up. But I think it's definitely going to be the easiest game of the season.
Interesting as well, coming into a new season with a new manager, effectively. Neil Lynn's going to get the chance in pre-season to make the changes he was maybe trying to avoid making when he was just the interim manager. He's going to put his own stamp on things, so it will be interesting to see what those changes are. Are we going to see a tweak in formation? Are we going to see I think we'll definitely see some sort of change in the build up, maybe a bit quicker. He's talking about being more aggressive and a little bit more direct, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out this season. And always with a new manager, there's going to be a new preferred 11, if you like. There's going to be a new preferred team, so it's going to be interesting to see that. Continuing August though, away to Motherwell, home to Hearts, and then it's the first derby at the end of the month at Ibrox, so some big games there. Obviously I think the first derby last season at Celtic Park was the 2nd of September, so it's at roughly the same time. But that's a massive game psychologically for us, isn't it?
Absolutely monumental. That really could set a precedent for the whole season for us if we can overcome. We definitely had a hoodoo over us at Ibrox last season. The whole supporter change and reducing the amount of fans that were allowed in, it really seemed to have a massive impact on the players. They just didn't turn up on those days. So are we going to see a repeat of it this season coming, or are we going to rectify it and put that to bed? And if we can on that first derby, then that could really set us off for the season. That could set the pace, set the tone for the season.
Definitely, and psychologically I think it's so important for us to get a good start and get underway. I've already said this week that I can't wait to get back to the football and just talking about the stuff that's happening on the park. So it's massive for us to get off to a good start and just get points on the board as soon as possible.
100%.
In September we won't go game by game. There'll be plenty of time to talk about stuff in detail as we go through the season. September, away at Hamilton, home to Kilmarnock, away to Hibs. Again, in the league at Easter Road last season, a bit of a struggle. We got beat there when Neil Lynd was in the Hibs dugout, and we did 0-0 draw after the split, so always a tough trip to Easter Road.
100%, and there will be games that present challenges for us, the ones that probably we've seen present challenges over the last couple of seasons. There's places that are just quite challenging to visit, so I think Hibs away is one of them.
Definitely. Notable ones in October, we go away to Livingston, which we only done once last season. It was 0-0 obviously.
That was enough.
It was enough on that plastic pitch. And away to Pittodrie the weekend, 26th October, so we had 2 massive wins up Aberdeen last season, the 4-3 in Boxing Day, and then the game that won the title. So those games are always tough. We have a great record up there, but they always, looking back on a season, we always seem to have important wins up at Pittodrie, so
more of the same.
Those games are big for us, aren't they?
More of the same for us, 100%. We need to go up to Pittodrie and continue to put on the show that we have done up there in terms of always just grinding out and making it happen when we need to. It's absolutely vital that we get points there and we crack on. I think Livingston, it's always a tough one for us playing the plastic pitch.
Definitely, and there's a few of them obviously with Kilmarnock and the likes as well. Interesting to see Aberdeen as well. They've brought in Curtis Main, they've brought in Craig Bryson for Derby, who by all accounts is a good sign for them. They're trying to rebuild, because I think they see themselves, as you said, they see themselves as a challenging for top 2, top 3, so they'll be looking to get stronger. Into the Christmas period, December is always a huge month for us. We've got some big games in there. Hopefully we'll have some European games in there as well. Home to Hamilton, away to St Johnstone, then we're home to Hibs and Aberdeen, away to St Mirren Boxing Day, and the second derby 29th of December. So December is always really congested, particularly if we get into Europe. Some big games for us there in that month, but important that they're all at home, the big ones.
Massively important. I think we've seen last season, maybe even part of the season prior to that away from home our form wasn't good, particularly last season. Away from home the form wasn't great.
Contrast to the home form, because we're
which was phenomenal. So I think having those home games in such a big month is a nod to hopefully that we can start putting a lot of points on the board in December and start to create a bit of space at the top of the league, hopefully. So that's what you would look for out of that month.
As it goes, it's obviously the opposite of last year, so we've got the New Year derbies ours at home.
Yes.
A good chance again, like touching on the first derby, these games are massive in the context of the season, and psychologically we don't know where the lead will be at. But a chance to end the first half of the season and put a real statement, a real marker down at home.
It is 100%. Like you say, that first half of the season, it's often a bit choppy. It's often a bit here and there, and teams can come out and kind of really set off quite quickly, like Hearts did at the beginning of last season. Hearts had a really good first, maybe even third of the season, but certainly that first half of the season teams can really come out and do a bit. Then they tend to fall off in the second half of the season, some of these teams that come out and set a bit of pace. So to end the first half of the season with Rangers at home, if we can put a bit of daylight between us and them, hopefully that time of the season, then that kicks us on into the second half.
Definitely, that brings us on to the period after the winter break. This is something last season that was massive for us, because we went on that great run. Obviously the winter break was tough last season because we just had to stew over that defeat at Ibrox for a couple of weeks. We came back and I think we went 8 or 9 wins in a row, and we really built up a gap again there. So
starting re-entry in the Scottish Cup.
So there'll be a Scottish Cup game in here, but the first league game is away at Kilmarnock, which is tough for a number of reasons. Obviously we mentioned the pitch already, but I'm quite impressed. Kilmarnock have made a really ambitious managerial appointment with Angelo Alessio, Antonio Conte's assistant. So interesting to see how they do, but that'll be a tough one for us to start the second half of the season. 100%,
and just like you've touched on there, it's nice to see a team go out there and make a bit of a statement, a bit of ambition, somebody that wants to do something. So that'll be interesting to see how Kilmarnock shape up this season, and it's never easy to go to Rugby Park. Steve Clark always set them up really well, and they did us over a couple of times. So it would be nice to think that hopefully we can kick on again and the start of the second half of the season, and it'd be nice to go to Rugby Park and put some of that hoodoo to bed and start picking up some points there.
Definitely, apart from obviously the Scott Brown one, which is late on, it's always a tough game, but coming back, I wonder if the players will go to Dubai this season. I know that was a big Rodgers thing. I wonder if it'll continue under Lennon or they'll go somewhere else through the winter break. We'll see. All notable ones, we start February away to Hamilton, away to Motherwell, and then we're home to Hearts and away to Aberdeen, so those two will be big in there again. That's kind of around about the time that if we're in Europe after Christmas, that'll start to come back in, and it's the last 32 or whatever it would be. Another notable ones, just to round up, we're away to Livingston again in March, and then a couple of weeks later it's the third derby, the last derby at Ibrox, weekend of the 14th of March. And looking back in the past couple of seasons, of those March derbies, the third derby of the season, in the past 2 seasons there's been a lot to play for. You think about the 3-2 game at Ibrox where we were down to 10 men and Edouard scored the goal. That effectively sealed the title that year. And you could look at this season just gone there as well. James Forrest goal to win 2-1, that kind of sealed it for us as well. So those March derbies are always huge, aren't they?
Massively. And I think, again, coming back to the fact that Ibrox this season, we didn't do overly well, and James Forrest did seal the deal. Did seal the deal at Parkhead. So it would be nice to think that this season, coming into that sort of stage of the season, that we can start to, lay down a marker on this is our league, this is 9 in a row. That would be nice to see. Definitely.
I think we've got to show so much more at Ibrox this season. We've got to come out fighting.
Yeah, 100%.
We talked about it in the build up to the final one last season. I know we'd won the league and there was a bit of party the week before, but about putting the wrongs from December to right. Well, we've got 2 games to look back at last season, and we've really got to go and make a statement there this season. The last game before the split is away to Hibs. We've touched on that already. Difficult trips to Easter Road. That's probably a kind of post-split fixture, if you like. Hibs will probably be facing them in the split. You'd think they'd make the top 6.
You would think so, aye.
We don't know where the league will be at that stage, but hopefully we'll have a substantial lead going into the split.
Hopefully.
That is it for the fixture summary. I do want to touch on a couple of transfer things. I know we haven't made any transfer content yet. It is coming. I promise you, it's not because I can't be bothered talking about it. David Turnbull was coming, and then he wasn't coming.
Yeah.
And then he was definitely coming, and then we absolutely pulled the plug, and now he's coming.
He's coming.
He was pictured yesterday. In an interview, Neil Lennon basically wearing a Celtic top. His medical was yesterday. I think they're just keeping us waiting. They like to do that.
Monday.
But with this deal,
Monday unveil. Big surprise.
With this deal, I don't know if we can ever be 100% sure, but it looks like he's in the door, and £3 million is a lot of money. So they must think highly of him.
For a young boy that's only played just over 2,000 professional minutes, it is a big fee. It's Motherwell's biggest fee they've ever demanded for a player, so hopefully he can come in and repeat the form that he put on last season. He was in terrific form, which is why there's been interest in this break, so it would be nice to think that we get him in over the line. I imagine it's done, and like you say, they're just holding us off, and the big unveil will be on Monday. Surprise, we've signed somebody. But yeah, we can create some transfer content further down the line, but hopefully he beds in quite well this season and he's used, as opposed to bringing young players in and having to farm them out in the future. So it'd be nice to see him come in and hit the ground running. Definitely. I think a type of player that we've maybe missed a bit, a goal scoring midfielder. If you like Stuart Armstrong, was that we've missed him since he's been in. Ryan Christie's came in and done really well in that aspect, but we've missed him when he's been injured, and without Ryan Christie we don't really have that driving force, that goal threat for midfield. So again, he hopefully gives us that. 15 goals in 30 games at a club like Motherwell is pretty substantial. Another thing though, I still want to see Ewan Henderson like pretty frequently this season. I think he's really exciting, so I hope there's room for the two of them in the squad, and that we can use both of them and really continue their development, because I've been impressed with Ewan Henderson. 100%. The last thing on the agenda today is Nick Hammond. He's been confirmed for an initial summer period without a title really. We know he's been a technical director, a director of football at Reading and West Brom. It looks like his task here is purely recruitment based. His expertise are going to help us with the recruitment. What do you make of that? I think it almost seems just a bit, again, it's been handled a bit strange. It just seems that it's a bit different. It's a bit, I don't know what sort of approach that they're trying to take with it. Just the wee press release about it, but with Congat moving on, the head of recruitment was out. It was something that we had to handle. It seems like he's kind of been brought in with a nod to maybe director of football or another title, but it just seems a bit strange just now. It just seems a bit, I don't know, there's been a few strange press releases or social media posts over the last couple of weeks, so definitely we'll see how it goes, and we wish him all the best. 100%. Hopefully he can help us get some names in and really strengthen the areas that we need to strengthen this summer, because that's huge for us. Massive. That's it for the fixture roundup.
we know what the journey to 9 in a row looks like now. So give us your thoughts below on the fixtures. Like the video, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.